This is News 8 Now, this morning.
She set a precedent as to what it means to be a chancellor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and really made us alumni proud.
We need to put it in perspective and say, yes, it's heartbreaking that I lost my job or something like that, but I still have my health. The sun is coming up. It's a beautiful day, and I'm surrounded by people I love and people who love me.
It is a fantastic learning experience and a growth experience for the students, and that's our goal, is just to help those students realize that musical growth through learning music.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for watching News 8 Now. I'm Dua Ashraf.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is February 20th, 2023. Happy Monday. Thanks for waking up with us, Derek. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was pretty good. And by the way, happy President's Day.
Happy President's Day.
Yeah, but the weekend was pretty good. Worked with Emily Haugen on Saturday night, and then Sunday I got to enjoy a little bit of relaxing. But how about you, though?
Pretty good. I went to a concert up in the cities. You know, the weather was really nice. Driving up there is slightly gloomy, but this weekend I'm going back home to Chicago and I'm driving there, so hopefully some good weather for that drive.
Well, we're going to have to wait till we get through after this winter storm here first,
all right,
and then we should be looking at some much more quieter weather. But as we take a live look at our satellite and radar picture this morning, things are looking rather quiet. There are some clouds though beginning to move in out ahead of what is a clipper system that could bring us some snow showers here to work with, especially across our north zones. In fact, you can see that snow just positioned to our west. Current temperatures in the meantime are into those mid to upper teens. We got 19 in Winona now, 20 degrees though in La Crosse, 15 in Eau Claire, 10 in Ladysmith. More 20s are focused down towards the south. And as far as your planner goes today, we're going to be looking at those cloudy weather conditions under mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures warming up into the upper 30s, mid to early afternoon, and then followed by the low 40s as we head into those later to early evening hours as well. Do want to let you know that winter storm watches have now been issued. This is going to go from 6 p.m. tomorrow to 6 p.m. Thursday, and that's because we could be looking at some heavy snow accumulations around here, along with some gusty winds here to work with as well as the system begins to affect us. And we're going to talk more about this coming up in the full weather forecast. Back to you, Dua.
All right. Thanks, Derek. Well, let's get to some news this morning. A Campbell teenager who was missing for around 4 weeks has been found safe. The Campbell Police Department said in a Facebook post Saturday evening that 15-year-old Jaden Halverson was located. Halverson ran away from home on January 22nd. The department thanked everyone who shared their original posts. Students are heading back to school at Michigan State University today. This will be the first day of class since the deadly shooting that left 3 dead and 5 wounded. School officials say they will keep the areas where the shootings took place closed for the rest of the semester. They will also be offering mental health services to both students and staff. Interim Provost Thomas Jetstico talked about the impact the shootings will have on the MSU community and what they are doing to help people cope.
We have resources around what to say to students after a crisis, how to have discussions. There's no expectations that our faculty members will be mental health practitioners in these settings, but they will be empathetic, and each of them with their classes will figure out what are the best ways forward.
The interim provost also says instructors have been asked to be flexible in their approach to classes this semester. Former UW-Madison Chancellor Rebecca Blank, who led the school for nearly a decade, died Friday after a battle with cancer. She was 67. Andrew Brandstra shares her legacy and the impact she made on her students from Madison.
I think she'll just be remembered as a fantastic chancellor and just a great human being.
That's how Evan Warwick, a 2018 UW grad, remembers Chancellor Rebecca Blank, who led the university from 2013 through 2022. Her profound impact on him and thousands of students started at commencement freshman year.
She was like, take it one step at a time, but really like go beyond your comfort zone and explore all that UW-Madison has to offer. And for me, that kind of gave me the wherewithal to kind of go out of my comfort zone and do great things at the university.
She left UW-Madison in 2022, being named president of Northwestern University, but she later announced her bout with cancer, which ultimately prevented her from serving the role. Before UW-Madison, she was a professor of economics at Northwestern and was the deputy secretary of commerce in the Obama administration. The former president said in part she devoted her career to reducing inequality and increasing opportunities, something that Evan felt too.
As an alum, it's really important for me that university or college in general is accessible to folks of all different backgrounds.
Blank's Bucky's Tuition Promise program debuted in 2018, offering scholarships to Wisconsin residents whose families made $65,000 or less.
She set a precedent as to what it means to be a chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and really made us alumni proud.
That sentiment shared by the university's current chancellor, Jennifer Mnuchin, who shared her sadness for the loss of what she called a brilliant leader who worked tirelessly to make UW-Madison a better place. Evan remembers her for the candid one-on-one conversations, a bigger-than-life person with a great sense of humor that was just down to earth, but above all, someone that strived to best serve her university.
She was working on things for students that you could tangibly see the effects of, and as a undergrad, that made a big difference to me. I think she always had, the students at the time in mind, but also future generations of Badgers in mind as well.
UW-Madison plans to honor Blank with a memorial service and a campus remembrance at a later date. While student musicians showed off their skills at the District Solo and Ensemble Music Festival in Holmen. The event is sponsored by the Wisconsin School Music Association. Middle and high schoolers got to perform solos or ensembles in front of a judge. The festival is designed to help school music programs. Organizers say it helps their performers grow too.
It is a fantastic learning experience and a growth experience for the students, and that's our goal, is just to help those students realize that musical growth through learning music.
The festival was held at Holmen's Performing Arts Center. Students from the area took part, including kids from La Crosse and Onalaska. Well, it was a busy weekend at Mount La Crosse. Over 400 athletes competed at the Wisconsin State High School Ski and Snowboard Championships. The three-day event brought over 3,000 people to Mount La Crosse. The 30th annual event kicked off on Saturday with 3 different snowboarding events for boys and girls. Sunday, there were 3 different ski events, including boys and girls slalom. And the Giant Mount La Crosse manager Darcy Breedle says the weather was perfect.
It's such a beautiful day to be outside in the sun and watching these athletes compete. There's some really good talent here this weekend, and we're super proud and happy to host this event again.
The Wisconsin State Ski and Snowboard Championships is the largest high school race in the U.S. Volunteers say the event also attracted athletes from across the globe. There will be 3 more events later today. The boys' giant slalom is the first on the schedule, and that starts at 8:30. And as winter nears the end, so does ice fishing season. The Wisconsin DNR says today is the day to make some permanent ice shanties off the ice. This deadline comes to prevent any safety hazards. Today's deadline applies to shanties along the Wisconsin and Iowa boundary waters. The Wisconsin-Minnesota boundary water deadline is March 1st, and inland waters are March 5th. If you are having problems removing your ice shanty, the DNR urges you to seek help from local fishing clubs or vendors. If you see a shanty that has not been removed, you can report them by texting 1-800-TIP-WNDR. News8000.com has more information on these deadlines. Well, still ahead on your morning news, we'll share what you need to know before your next trip to the pump and what those gas prices may look like, and how gyms are making a post-pandemic comeback. That and more is coming up this morning. But for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Waukesha's Dancing Grannies are back in action. It's the last big weekend of the carnival celebration and season in New Orleans, and the Dancing Grannies marched in one of the parades on Sunday. The Grannies said they are glad to be performing again. Dozens of parades and other festivities have taken place, and more are scheduled. Mardi Gras is tomorrow, Tuesday, February 21st. Well, don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Our current temperatures as you head out the door are mainly into the teens, as you can see there behind me, but some spots like La Crosse County currently around 20 degrees. Let's get checked now on your zone forecast today. La Crosse County looking pretty warm today. In fact, high temperatures will climb upward into the mid-40s, making it above average and pretty mild here yet again across the area. It'll be 45 today in New Albin, 42 though if you're in Westby today, 43 in Arcadia with 42 degrees expected today if you're in Whitehall, and across our north zones, that's when we're expected to see our best chances of snow with temperatures into the upper 30s to low 40s. Schoolcast here this morning looking good. Temperatures at 22, partly cloudy skies, and on the way back we should be looking at temperatures warming up to about 41 degrees under mainly cloudy weather conditions. As far as your dog walking conditions go this morning, looking okay. Cloudy skies for the morning, and that same cloud cover will persist into the afternoon, and again some spots looking at some snow showers mainly to the north. Cloudy skies here for the evening hours as well to wrap things up today. I'll be back with a check on that full weather forecast, and we'll go over that snowy weather here expected to hit us as we head into next week.
Well, if you're like most Americans, you're paying about the same for gas as last week. The national average for a gallon of gas is $3.42, which equates to a 1 cent drop. Of course, the exact price and movement change from state to state and even from neighborhood to neighborhood. The price of gas is 12 cents more than a month ago, but 9 cents less than it was this time last year. Rising energy costs could force 141 million people into poverty. That's according to a new report published in the journal Nature Energy. Researchers from the Netherlands, the UK, China, and the U.S. found on average household spending increased nearly 5% since Russia's war in Ukraine started. To reduce these impacts, many countries have provided subsidies, discounts, and price caps. But the report suggests countries can do more to reduce those prices. Thousands of gyms across the U.S. shut down during the pandemic, and many for good. But as Michael George shows us, fitness centers are now making a comeback.
Joe Morello almost never misses a morning workout. When the pandemic began and gyms shut down, he, like many others, started to exercise at home. But it just wasn't the same.
It gets stale. You start to realize that you're nowhere near where you were from a fitness perspective pre-pandemic.
Gyms were among the hardest hit businesses during the pandemic. A quarter of fitness centers shut down completely. It was especially tough on smaller gyms, like the Body Blueprint in Pelham, New York.
We lost a good chunk of our business, about 80% of our people.
General Manager Tommy Pomatico says now, finally, he's seeing gym members return and a surge of new customers.
People are really understanding that without health, you don't really have anything, right? And so now people are prioritizing it.
Foot traffic in gyms is up 40% compared to 2 years ago, according to retail tracking website Placer.ai. But it's still not quite back up to pre-pandemic levels.
For Morello, there's something he gets here that he can't get working out at home.
It's the community feel. To me, working out at home has its benefits, but it doesn't push you the way seeing someone else that's doing the same workout that might be pushing a little bit harder than you. It kind of drives you, it fuels you.
And it's been just the fuel America's gyms needed to get back in shape.
Industry groups say more than 1.5 million fitness jobs were lost during the pandemic. Well, that's it for your consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Dua. Looking at pretty cool conditions here to work with this morning, as you could see behind me there from City Cam 8. Current conditions now in La Crosse are at 20 degrees. Downtown, though, a tad warmer at 23, 5.51 feet, and dropping is our current river conditions. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, we're looking at 15 degrees under those partly cloudy skies. Visibility at 10 miles. East-northeast winds very light at 3 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the area now are into the teens, but down south, we are looking at current readings well into the low 20s. Now, our temperatures are forecast to warm up to 23 by 6, 36 degrees here by noon today, followed by 45 degrees by 4, all under cloudy weather conditions throughout the day. We are watching a Clipper system positioned to our northwest, and this system is expected to move in our general direction. This could give us a chance of seeing some light snow, but mainly focused well to the north as where most of that snowy weather will be focused. But some spots could be looking at a little bit of some light rain or a little bit of some light snow late this south for into the evening. If not, all of us will be dealing with cloudy skies regardless, and the same can be said as we take you into tonight on the backside of the storm system. Now, speaking of storm systems, we're watching a pretty potent one that's going to be developing to our north and west. There's not really a whole lot to it right now, but this is the beginning signs, the early stages, if you will, of this developing system, and you can see some snow showers already beginning to affect portions of the northwestern and northern United States. And as we time this out here, looking ahead, you can see it will be consolidating as it continues to move east and gather strength. A very broad system here to start, but you can see it's so broad that it will be affecting us here by tomorrow night, bringing us some snow, sometimes heavy at times. And then you can see as the system continues to move east, we will be watching this developing low take shape and spreading snow here on the north side, while our friends down south are looking at heavy rain and possibly even some severe weather. But we're going to be looking at the snowy weather conditions lasting through around midweek. Here comes the low tracking in our general direction as we head into Wednesday night through Thursday. That will be when we will see some of the heavier snow beginning to affect us here Wednesday night into early on Thursday morning. At the same time, it will get a little bit gusty, which we'll talk about in just a second. But then you can see as that system exits, here comes our next one. This is a better one though, high pressure, which is going to be calming our weather pattern down after that system moves out, clearing out the skies and also giving us some drier weather conditions to work with. So this is going into Tuesday tomorrow morning around 5 o'clock. That's when the winds will start to pick up. But I do want to show you these wind gusts because we could be looking at wind gusts over 30 miles an hour possible starting Wednesday afternoon, and that will continue up to around 40 mile per hour wind gusts, sometimes even higher than that as we head into Wednesday night into early Thursday, and still looking a little bit gusty here as we take you into Thursday here too before the winds begin to settle down once that system exits the area as we head into Friday. In fact, our winds could be looking much calmer by that point. All right, so we have winter storm watches in effect from 6 p.m. Tuesday through 6 p.m. Thursday. That's because heavy snow is possible with this system. Anywhere between 6 to 12 inches in total between Tuesday through Thursday, with wind gusts as high as 45 miles an hour are also possible. This all can make travel very difficult to nearly impossible, so you want to make sure that you monitor the latest forecast here on News 8, and we'll keep you updated. We also have those alert days in place Tuesday through Thursday as well. And then we're looking much colder behind it on Friday, but also pretty dry too. This weekend we warm back up into the mid-30s. Another chance of wintry mix from our next system that could move in early next week on Monday. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we're sending you a break with a look at what happened on this day in history for February 20th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. A lot of times sports can be more than just a game. It can be a way for community to come together and help one of their own. And that's exactly what happened over the weekend in West Salem. Last October, West Salem student Zoe Coder was in a tragic automobile accident that left her in critical condition. Now, Zoe is still on the road to recovery. She is seeing a traumatic brain injury specialist across the country in Colorado and will be there for months to come. Now, Zoe is a big-time softball player, and her friends across the area stepped up to the plate to help raise some money. The West Salem High School softball team and All-American Fast Pitch softball camps partnered up to put on a softball pitching and hitting clinic to raise funds for Zoe and her family. There were over 80 coaches and athletes from the Cooley Conference, the MVC, the Scenic Bluffs Conference, the Dairyland, and many others. They all came together to help serve as instructors and participate in these clinics. There were also area college softball players helping out, and future Mississippi State Bulldog Greta Grassel. Everyone wanted to come together to help out because they know it'll mean a lot to Zoe.
Zoe's just a wonderful young lady, a great teammate, somebody who does anything you ask her to do, and she has always done it with a smile.
From knowing her and watching her play, she's always been that hype teammate that always picks you up, and so our program's really gonna miss her, and I feel like doing this is gonna help her so much and how her struggles and how to lift her up.
Well, in total, they raised over $6,000 in Saturday's camp. Now, all of the proceeds of the camp are going to the Coder family and will be used to help make their house more wheelchair accessible for when she returns. If you would like to know more about Zoe's journey, you can find more information on her Caring Bridge page, Zoe Coder. And last night was the NBA All-Star Game. Team Giannis up against Team LeBron. They had all the stars ready, and then shortly before the game, both Giannis and LeBron picked their teams in front of everyone. Giannis has always been known to be a man of loyalty, so everyone thought he was going to go with his teammate Jrue Holiday, but instead Giannis went with Damian Lillard first overall. Caught everyone off guard, but no worries. He got Jrue with the second pick. Now, I assumed Giannis was sitting out of the game, but he surprised everyone when he came on the floor, scored the first bucket of the game, and then did a little foul and subbed himself out for the rest of the game. But after that, it was all fun. LeBron James throwing it down. He can still do it with the best of them. What a dunk from him. And then right after, Jason Tatum, little copycat action, doing the same. Team Giannis up early. And then it's John Morant getting into the mix. He goes with the stylish reverse dunk. Team Giannis won 2 of the first 3 quarters, and then they would go on to take it home. Jason Tatum was the MVP. He had 55 points, and Giannis finally getting a win as All-Star General Manager. That'll do it for the Blitz. See you tonight.
As the war in Russia and Ukraine reaches its first anniversary this week, President Biden made a visit to Ukraine to meet President Zelensky today and plans to arrive in Warsaw, Poland by tomorrow. Poland's prime minister says he's in talks with the Biden administration about increasing the U.S. troop presence in his country. 5 people were shot during the Bacchus parade in New Orleans Sunday night. Police nearby heard the gunshots and responded immediately. 1 adult died and 3 others and a child are in stable condition and being treated at a local hospital. Police say they've detained 1 person and 2 guns were found at the scene. The police chief says it is not clear what led to the shooting. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demanding accountability from Norfolk Southern. On Sunday, Buttigieg sent a letter to the company's CEO urging the company to do more to respond to community members' needs. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw says all air and municipal water tests have come back clean, but people should still drink bottled water. Buttigieg also accused the railroad and other major carriers of undermining federal safety regulations. Ohio's Department of Health says it will open a health clinic to provide medical care to people affected by the train derailment. Americans of all ages and political backgrounds are sending prayers to former President Jimmy Carter. The 98-year-old Democrat who served 1 term in the White House from 1977 to 1981 is in home hospice care after several stays in the hospital. Worshippers at Carter's Church in Georgia prayed for the former president during Sunday morning services.
We'd be amiss this morning if we did not lift President Carter to you. Lord, we pray that you be with his family, Lord, those around him, and God, we thank you for his service to this nation.
Carter is the longest living president in American history. In a brief legal brief for an environmental cause last year, Mr. Carter wrote, quote, "In my lifetime, I have been a farmer, a naval officer, a Sunday school teacher, an outdoorsman, a democracy activist, a builder, governor of Georgia, and recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And from 1977 to 1981, I had the privilege of serving as the 39th president of the United States." Well, if you've been pregnant, you're no likely stranger to back pain. Mayo Clinic health system experts say that it's all due to gravity. As you gain weight during the pregnancy, your center of your gravity shifts. That makes you lean back more and strain your lower back muscles. Doctors suggest keeping good posture, wearing flats instead of heels, and going for a daily walk. One Mayo midwife says it's important for pregnant people to stay moving.
Most pregnancies are healthy and uncomplicated, and we want you to move about and still be you. As you know, you're going to be a mom, but you're still you as well.
Doctors say if your back pain lasts for more than 2 weeks or if it leaves a tingling feeling, to get in touch with your healthcare team. Well, as winter continues, some people are looking for ways to beat the cold weather blues. One solution, a plunge into icy water. Benefits of an ice bath include an improved mood, more energy, and even weight loss. Mayo Clinic health system experts say an ice bath could be a good option for some, but for those with heart problems or a weakened immune system, it can be dangerous. Experts say one reason people may take a cold plunge is to develop resilience.
We kind of build up a level of resiliency within the body by exposing it to these short doses of a stressful situation. there's some kind of purported beliefs out there that may help you be more resistant to colds or infections. And
if you take an ice bath, doctors recommend that you don't stay in for more than 10 minutes. Makeup is an everyday necessity for plenty of people, but those magic products don't last forever. Mayo Clinic Health System experts say using expired makeup can be hazardous. They can grow bacteria and could even clog your pores. Experts say it's a good idea to limit the amount of products you buy.
Less is more, so you're better off investing in 3 or 4 really great products that you're going to use, that you really like, that you enjoy putting on your face. And then they're used up before you'd even have to think about an expiration date.
Experts say pencil eyeliner usually lasts a year and lipsticks expire after 1 or 2 years. If you're not sure when your makeup expires, there's usually a picture of an open jar on your product, and that has the number of months it's good for once you open it. Well, it's been almost a week since Valentine's Day, and I'm sure plenty of you heard heart proverbs. That includes sayings like heart of gold or wearing your heart on your sleeve. Well, Mayo Clinic Health System experts say there's actually some medical truth to some of those phrases. With the phrase hearts are breaking, it's true your heart can't actually break, but stress can negatively affect your health. In those cases, doctors advise always putting things into perspective.
We need to put it in perspective and say, yes, it's heartbreaking that I lost my job or something like that, but I still have my health. The sun is coming up. It's a beautiful day, and I'm surrounded by people I love and people who love me.
Dr. Brooks Edwards says when you're surrounded by your loved ones, it helps you stay healthy. Well, Wisconsin's spring primary election is tomorrow, and on everyone's ballot this week, an open seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Braden Ross caught up with a group of pro-choice protesters who are urging people to vote.
Dozens gathered at the Wisconsin State Capitol Sunday with one major issue in mind.
Our state Supreme Court can make a ruling to finally say once and for all that an 1849 law that attacks abortion rights and reproductive justice is fundamentally unconstitutional.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court last summer, Wisconsin reverted to an 1849 law banning the procedure in almost all cases. Shortly after, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul filed a lawsuit challenging that law.
Right now, that case is still pending with the Dane County Circuit Court, and we assume whatever they rule will be appealed to eventually get to the state Supreme Court. And we're hoping they would find that law unconstitutional because other laws have been passed that supersede that 1849 ban. That would at least get it to a point where abortions could be performed in the state again.
In the primary on Tuesday, voters will choose between 4 candidates to fill one open seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, 2 conservatives and 2 liberals. The 2 highest vote getters will advance to the general election on April 4th. If a liberal candidate wins there, the court's current conservative majority would flip. Speakers at today's press conference included healthcare workers, labor rights activists, and even some who shared their own emotional experiences with abortion.
If this situation were to happen to me today in Wisconsin, I would have no choice. I would have no choice. I would have potentially delivered my son Leo and watched him die.
Despite their diverse backgrounds, they all delivered the same message.
If you think your vote doesn't count, it does.
Again, you can vote to narrow down the candidates for that Wisconsin Supreme Court seat on Tuesday. We will have more information tonight, as well as information on the candidates for La Crosse's school board race. Well, half of Wisconsinites age 21 or older live less than 75 minutes away from a legal marijuana dispensary. That's according to a new study from the Wisconsin Policy Forum. Many Wisconsinites are willing to drive to neighboring states to purchase marijuana, and with Minnesota seemingly ready to legalize recreational marijuana this year, it could soon be even more accessible to Wisconsinites. While many Wisconsinites can access the drug, varying laws can make things confusing for consumers and enforcers.
I think limbo is a great word for it. It is a really confusing kind of mix of
policy at the local, state, and federal level.
I very much believe that the genie is out of the bottle. It's going to be happening. It's just a matter of when it happens and what it looks like.
With Republicans in control of the legislature, the governor's latest attempt at recreational legalization is again unlikely to pass, but some Republican legislators do seem to be warming up to the idea.
Well, it sure is a bit of a chilly start here in some spots around the Coulee region, with temperatures now in La Crosse at 20 degrees. Our south wind is at 3 miles an hour at the moment. Humidity is quite up there, around 89%. Here's what we can expect throughout the rest of the morning. Cloudy skies, temperatures well into those mid to upper 20s, 30s here as we head into the late morning and also into the early noon hour, followed by temperatures warming up to 45 degrees come later this afternoon. In fact, that will be our forecast high today. As a matter of fact, in La Crosse, under mostly cloudy skies and very mild conditions as well, with south winds helping out there at 10 to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, we drop down to 17. That's pretty seasonable under mostly cloudy skies still, and west-northwest winds breezy at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So for your drivecast this morning, we are looking at those cloudy skies. Things should stay that way through the mid-commute here too, and then by the evening commute, skies still looking mainly cloudy. We'll talk more about this and lots more weather here to come, especially next week in that full weather forecast. But coming up in our Buzz Report, the actor making his return to the big screen in a new live-action Disney remake. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back. It sure is a very cloudy start outside this morning, with current temperatures now in La Crosse at 20 degrees. Downtown, 2 degrees warmer than that, though, at 22. Our river stage is currently at 5.51 feet and dropping, and we are looking at visibility at around 8 miles here. So conditions, as driving conditions, that is looking good. Same can be said here to the north in Eau Claire, where temperatures are currently at 15 degrees under partly cloudy weather conditions. Temperatures across the rest of the area mainly into the teens and even the low 20s. Down to the south, Viroqua at 20, Prairie Sheens at 24, and Boscoville currently at 20 degrees. We're expected to warm up to around 36 degrees at noon today, followed by 45 degrees by 4 o'clock, making it very mild here throughout the day underneath all those cloudy weather conditions that we are expecting. And it's all thanks to this Clipper system that we are watching to our north and west, which is expected to slide its way towards the southeast. And you can see it will bring some snowy weather to portions of northern Minnesota, as well as extreme northern Wisconsin. And some of this may actually affect portions of our northern communities later this afternoon to the evening. Now, once the system clears out, we're still going to be fairly cloudy here as we take you into tonight, with a few light flurries that are still possible underneath some of those thicker clouds. But speaking of storm systems, we are tracking a very powerful one that is expected to develop, and right now this is the beginning stages of it here across the north and west, mainly focused along the Pacific Ocean and downstream into the northwestern United States. In fact, we are seeing evidence of a little bit of snow now beginning to develop across portions of Montana and really the Mountain West here in general, looking at some of the snow, especially underneath some of those thicker moist clouds. And this system is expected to develop and head our way, possibly even giving us some very significant winter weather around here, starting as early as Tuesday night. You can see it's how broad it is, mainly focused to our west, with some of that snow beginning to creep our way here as we take you into Tuesday night into early Wednesday. And then we're going to be looking at yet another round moving in as the system continues to develop and consolidate, as it continues to track towards the east. And this is when we could be looking at some of the heavier snow developing, especially once this low really becomes into focus. By the time we reach early Thursday morning, we could be looking at some heavy snow and even some gusty winds associated with the system as it continues to track our way. Now behind it, we'll be looking at some improving weather conditions as high pressure begins to move in. That will dry us out and also give us some clear weather conditions here to work with at the same time. This system is already spawning plenty of winter weather alerts, even blizzard warnings in effect here for portions of southern Wyoming. In the meantime, we also have winter storm watches and winter storm warnings. Those watches actually include us here in the Coulee region. We are currently under those winter storm watches for most locations here in the Coulee region from 6 p.m. Tuesday through 6 p.m. Thursday. And that's because we could be looking at some heavy snow here with very gusty winds, and travel, as a matter of fact, will be very difficult to nearly impossible associated with this system. Now let's talk about how much snow we could see. The models are in pretty good agreement that our first round will be moving in as we head into Tuesday night into early Wednesday. And we could be looking at our first round of snow anywhere between around 4 to 8 inches. Now, as we take you into our second round of snow, which is expected to arrive by Wednesday night into Thursday, that's when we could be looking at possibly an additional 6 inches or more. So in total, it is possible that a lot of locations will be looking at around a foot of snow or just over a foot. And along with that will come with the gusty winds, as we talked about before. Wind speeds, wind gusts up to 30+ miles an hour starting Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then possibly picking up to around 40+ miles per hour as we head into Wednesday night. Now after that, we will be looking at some improving weather conditions as wind speeds will drop behind that storm system here too. I do want to take you into the 8-day forecast, and you'll be looking at those alert days Tuesday through Thursday. Behind it, we're looking much drier and cooler for Friday.
Actor and comedian Richard Belzer has died. A longtime friend told The Hollywood Reporter Belzer died at his home in southwest France. The actor reportedly was dealing with a lot of health issues. Belzer began as a stand-up comedian in the 70s before venturing into roles in film and on television. He is best remembered as the cynical but reliable detective John Munch on the TV show Homicide: Life on the Street, and then later on Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Zach Galifianakis is set for a major role in Disney's remake of its popular 2002 animated movie Lilo and Stitch. Reports say the actor signed on for the live-action production, which is planned for release on streaming service Disney+. The role Galifianakis will have in the remake hasn't been revealed. The comedian is getting back to the big screen for the first time since the 2018 Disney movie A Wrinkle in Time. Now, Derek, I have to know your opinion because people have a lot of strong opinions about this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all of the animated movies being turned into live action?
I think it all depends on what you like, I guess, right? But some of the movies that are animated that can go into in person can be good. But sometimes I feel like you should just kind of leave it alone. You know
what do you think about this Lilo and Stitch situation?
The Lilo and Stitch, I feel like you should just leave it animated.
You're not a fan?
That's my opinion. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Before we head to break, it's time for today's Look Who's 8.
Yeah, we got some to celebrate today. Our first one is to Hazel, who is turning 8 months. Hazel loves her family and her dog, Reba.
Happy 8 months to Briggs. Briggs loves giggling and loves getting his picture taken.
Beautiful smile there, and we also want to wish a happy 8 months to Everly. She is learning how to stand up and loves to play with her brother and her dog.
Happy 8th birthday to Axton. Axton is a fun and energetic boy who loves to spend time with his family.
Happy 8th birthday to Kendall. Now, Kendall loves to dance, draw, and play sports. And if you know a special someone that is turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com. And you know the drill, look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Well, stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your morning news now is up next. Time for your morning news now. Americans of all ages and political backgrounds are sending prayers to former President Jimmy Carter. The 98-year-old Democrat who served one term in the White House from 1977 to 1981 is in home hospice care after several stays in the hospital. Carter is the longest living president in American history. Well, makeup is an everyday necessity for plenty of people, but those magic products don't last forever. Mayo Clinic Health System experts say using expired makeup can be hazardous. They can grow bacteria and could clog your pores. Experts say it's a good idea to limit the products you buy.
Less is more, so you're better off investing in 3 or 4 really great products that you're going to use, that you really like, that you enjoy putting on your face, and then they're used up before you even have to think about an expiration date.
Experts say use pencil eyeliner that usually lasts about a year, and lipsticks expire after 1 or 2 years. If you're not sure when your makeup expires, there's usually a picture of an open jar on your product that has the number of months you can use it for once it's open. A Campbell teenager who was missing for around 4 weeks has been found safe. The Campbell Police Department said in a Facebook post Saturday evening that 15-year-old Jaden Halverson was located. Halverson ran away from home on January 22nd. The department thanked everyone who shared their original posts. Well, it was a busy weekend at Mount La Crosse. Over 400 athletes competed at the Wisconsin State High School Ski and Snowboard Championships. The 3-day event brought over 3,000 people to Mount La Crosse. The 30th annual event kicked off on Saturday with 3 different snowboarding events for boys and girls. Sunday, there are 3 different ski events, including boys and girls slalom and the giant slalom. Mount La Crosse manager Darcy Breedle says the weather was perfect.
It's such a beautiful day to be outside in the sun and watching these athletes compete. There's some really good talent here this weekend, and we're super proud and happy to host this event again.
The Wisconsin State Ski and Snowboard Championship is the largest high school race in the U.S. Volunteers say the event also attracted athletes from across the globe. There will be 3 more events later today. The boys giant slalom is the first on the schedule, and that starts at 8:30. And as winter nears its end, so is ice fishing season. The Wisconsin DNR says today is the day to take some permanent ice shanties off the ice. This deadline comes to prevent any safety hazards. Today's deadline applies to shanties along the Wisconsin and Iowa boundary waters. The Wisconsin-Minnesota boundary water deadline is March 1st and inland waters are March 5th. If you are having problems removing your ice shanty, the DNR urges you to seek help from local fishing clubs or vendors. If you see a shanty that has not been removed, you can report them by texting 1-800-TIP-WNDR. News8000.com has more information on those deadlines.
And as you head out the door this morning, our temperatures are into the mid-teens and 20s under those cloudy skies. And throughout the rest of the day, I do expect mostly cloudy weather conditions too, with temperatures into those mid to upper 30s, mid-morning to early afternoon, followed by the low 40s here come the late afternoon hours. A slight chance of snow is possible, but it does look like the majority of the snow will be mainly focused to the north with this weak Clipper system moving through. However, there are winter storm watches here going into effect as we head into 6 p.m. Tuesday through 6 p.m. Thursday. So we're watching a pretty powerful system that will move in to give us some heavy snow, anywhere between 6 to 12 inches from Tuesday evening through 6 p.m. Thursday. This can make travel very difficult, especially with those gusty conditions to 45 miles an hour that could blow around and drift all that snow across the area too that we're expecting. We do have those alert days in effect starting Tuesday and continuing through Thursday. And then after that, we're looking much drier, colder here for Friday too. Then we're warming up this weekend as highs climb back up into the mid-30s. Next best chance of wintry precipitation looks like it's going to be early next week on Monday.
But we are seeing that mostly sunny on Sunday,
Yeah,
which
something
is
to
really
look
nice to
forward
see.
to. Exactly, yeah.
We're at that final stretch of, the cold season.
Still got early March here to work with too, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching News 8 Now this morning, and thanks for waking up with us. Don't forget to keep up with news of the day on news8000.com, and we'll see you back here at noon.